Hi, I am Mark. She used to say I was too emotional, that I was always looking for reasons to be unhappy. But when she couldn't log into my Netflix anymore, suddenly she had a lot of feelings, and not a single word to say to me. If you've ever felt used by someone who only comes around when they need something, this story is for you. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where justice isn't just poetic, it's personal. And share your own revenge tale in the comments. Let's dive in. Friendship is supposed to be built on loyalty, trust, and mutual support. It's supposed to feel like a safe space, a connection where both people show up, in good times and bad. But what happens when that friendship turns into a one-way transaction? When the person you trusted treats your kindness like a free subscription they can use and cancel at will. That's exactly what happened to me. For years, I believed being a good friend meant always being available. I gave time, money, emotional support, thinking one day it would all come full circle. It didn't. This is the story of how I realized my so-called best friend wasn't a friend at all, and how I decided to take back something small, yet powerful: my Netflix account. I met Ria in coaching classes during those intense, pressure-cooked years of preparing for competitive exams. We bonded over late-night study sessions, bad mess food, and dreams of finally making it big. She was loud, confident, charismatic, and when we clicked, it felt like finding family in the middle of chaos. We shared everything: notes, secrets, fears, hope, laughter. And that kind of friendship felt unshakable at the time. But things started to shift subtly once we entered adulthood. While I managed to land a steady job, Ria's path was more chaotic: unstable jobs, family drama, personal issues. And I tried to be there for her through all of it. Whenever she needed something, I showed up. Need a phone recharge? Done. Help paying her internet bill? Of course. Netflix login? Always. I justified it to myself. I earned well. She was struggling. Friends help each other, right? But I slowly began to realize something. She never once offered to return the favor. Never asked how I was doing.
Never cared unless she needed something. It became a pattern I chose to ignore. Until life gave me no choice but to see it clearly. It started during a particularly tough period in my life. I won't go into all the details, but mentally, emotionally, I was hanging on by a thread. Work stress was piling up. I lost someone close to me. I needed someone to talk to. Just to sit, listen, maybe remind me that I wasn't alone. So naturally, I reached out to Ria. I messaged her, "Can we talk? I'm not doing okay." She read the message and ignored it. Hours passed, then a full day. Finally, she replied, "You always find ways to be unhappy. Why can't you be grateful for what you have?" That message hit harder than I expected. Here I was, trying not to drown, and she basically told me I was being dramatic. Like my pain was inconvenient. Like I was an emotional burden. That was the moment something in me snapped. Or maybe it finally woke up. I went back through our chats, the money I gave, the support I offered, the way she always needed, always took, and never gave. It wasn't friendship. It was freeloading. And I had been the fool, thinking she'd be there for me just because I was always there for her. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. She hadn't just dismissed my pain, she had shown me, crystal clear, that she didn't value me beyond what I could give her. She'd forget my birthday, ignore my milestones, joke about my sensitivity, vanish when I needed emotional support. But she always remembered when the subscription needed renewing, or when she wanted a recommendation, or when she needed help buying something online. She had access to everything. My Netflix, Amazon Prime, even Spotify at one point. She had become entitled to my generosity. So I decided to take something back. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but to reclaim a sense of control. To remind myself that my resources weren't free, that my kindness had limits. I changed my Netflix password, and the moment I did, I felt lighter. A few hours after the change, she messaged me, "Hey, did Netflix log you out? I can't access it anymore." I smiled. Must be a bug," I replied. She waited a day and asked again, so I gave her the password. But once she logged in, I logged her out. She tried again. I let her in, waited, logged her out. She tried the OTP method. I sent her the OTP. She logged in, and 5 minutes later, logged out.
She started freaking out. "Are you sure no one hacked your account?" "Maybe update your app," I suggested. This continued for days. She tried switching devices, reinstalling the app, logging in from different IP addresses. Nothing worked, because I was the glitch. Her frustration was delicious and entirely deserved. The more confused she got, the more empowered I felt. Not because I was being petty, but because for once I wasn't being used. She was stuck in a loop, just like I had been emotionally. Except this time I held the remote. Eventually the messages stopped. She gave up. The silence was louder than her entitlement ever was. No apology, no realization, no, "I'm sorry," just distance. And honestly, that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't need closure from her. I needed it from myself. She's gone now, from my Netflix account, from my chats, from my life, and I don't regret it. Not for a second. Some people are like leeches, draining you dry until you realize your kindness is just fuel for their comfort. Revenge doesn't have to be cruel. It doesn't have to be public. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is silence, a denied password, a broken pattern, a final no. You don't need to burn bridges. You just need to stop offering rides. And that's what I did. I stopped driving the friendship. And when she couldn't freeload anymore, she disappeared. That was all the clarity I needed. I used to think friendship meant unconditional giving. Now I know. It means mutual care. And when that's missing, it's okay to walk away, even if that starts with a Netflix logout. If you've ever had to reclaim your peace from someone who took you for granted, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real-life stories where revenge isn't cruel, it's calculated. And share your own petty revenge stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Because sometimes the quietest moments are the loudest wins.